Hello and welcome back to FiddleUP. I'm Emerald Ray, and today we are going to learn The Rights of Man. This is a really, really amazing Irish hornpipe. Such a beautiful tune. It's really cool. Everyone loves this one. This is a really great one to pull out at a session. Everybody's going to know this one and be really excited to play it. It's one of those really common but never gets old kind of tunes. And it's a dance tune as well. You can play it for step dancing and other things as well. So let's start off. It's an E minor. So we're going to be working with this hornpipe feel, which is a long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long kind of feel. And a hornpipe is kind of a funny kind of tune. It's sort of like a Scottish strathspey in that it's this kind of crooked reel kind of flavor to it. It's not a straight up reel or like a breakdown in old time where it's, all the notes are really straight. We have this long, short, long, short, long, short, long feel. So we're going to be working with that today. And it's in E minor, as I said. And we're going to start on, instead of starting on an E, we're going to start on the B, first finger on your A string. We'll do a little pickup into it, G, A, B. And here's the first phrase. So that's starting on a B, going up to C, and then A to B, and then down on the D string, G to A, and then F sharp to G. So I used my fourth finger there, and most of the time in fiddle music, we're going to be trying not to use your fourth finger. We actually love to use open strings. It's different from if you've studied classical music a little, at all. You will know that classical players love to use the fourth finger all the time instead of an open string. They kind of are loath to use an open string. And that's because they want to do vibrato everywhere. And we are different. Fiddle players are different. We like to do open strings on purpose. So we are hesitant to use a fourth finger if you can use an open string. But because of the way this little phrase goes, kind of maintaining some of the feel, it makes more sense to use a fourth finger. So that's a long answer for why we're going to do that. So we have B to C, A to B, G to A with the fourth finger, and then F sharp to G. And then we have the rest of the phrase is, so that's E, F sharp, B, open A, and back to the B. All right, so the whole first phrase sounds like this. So I'm just doing some nice, easygoing little slurs there. Because I just want to get that nice kind of loping feel. Dum, 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 dunka, dunka, dum. Now I'm going to go up to my E string. Now this is kind of a funny thing to do. You don't normally throw a D sharp in anywhere, except if you're doing something like that, but we're going to put it in here. So starting on your G string on the top. So that's G, F sharp, E. And now down to the D sharp, that's a high 3 on your A string. And up to the E string again. And then a regular D natural and a B. So all together, that's this. Now, some other people might play and they would be correct that you don't have to do that little D sharp there. I just kind of like that sound, so that's what I do. And a lot of other people do that as well. It's not just me. But that's one of those little choices. You could just do a D natural instead. But we're going to do my version today, so that's what we're doing. So let's try that again. Really slow, starting from the G. And then the rest of the phrase sounds like this. So that's starting on a C, C, B, A. And then we're going to go down to the G on your D string. And I'm doing an up bow slur on that G, the first G to A. And that's to set me up to be on a down bow for the next phrase. So this the finally through this part. So let's try all of that together. And let's try that one more time. Excellent. Okay, so let's go back to the top of the A part so we have everything in context here. So we're going to start from the G, A, B. Excellent. Very good. So from there, we're just going to play the first part again. The next phrase is exactly the same as the first. And now here we come to the last phrase. So on your E string, E, F sharp, G, and then down to the A string, D, B, and then back up to the E string for G, F sharp, G, and then just open E, and then down to the low E on your D string. So together that sounds like this. Okay, so that's awesome. So let's try the whole A part together. Very good. So let's try. Up to the open E. And then the first phrase again. And then the last answer up to the E. Very good. So let's move on to doing a variation of this. Before we move on to the B part, I want to get this really cool triplet thing going in here. And so if you want to stay there with what we just played, that's perfectly fine. You can totally take that to a session and play it just like that. That'll be fine. But most people are going to play it the way that I'm about to show you. And it's with this really cool triplet variation. And it sounds like this. So it is a little bit different in, you know, instead of, I'm gonna play. So it's still the same fingers, but the timing is slightly different. So let's start up on your B, on your A string. And we're just gonna throw that second finger in there, almost like a trill. And then we're gonna keep that going. So we'll play B, B, C, B, A, B, A. And then third finger to fourth finger, G to A. And then F sharp to G. So let's try that with the pickup, G to A. Let's try that one more time. I'm gonna do a slur on that last little bit. That's what's feeling good to me right now, because I gotta get it to a down bow for the next phrase. Anyway, so let's try that one more time, and then I'll show you what we're gonna do immediately after it, because there's one more little thing in there. And so instead of, we'll throw a little neighbor note in there and turn that into a triplet. So if you're wondering what all of this is, I would visit the ornamentation section and check out, there's a video on neighbor notes, how to throw those in. That's kind of what we're playing around with here. This is kind of a cross between a neighbor note and a trill. I can't really decide what it is. And then we're doing and if you want to bow it like that, that is a triplet. So there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Check out the ornamentation section, watch some videos if you haven't done that yet. That would be a really good thing to do, to break all this stuff down into scales and get all this stuff under your fingers and into your repertoire. And so from the first part, so I'm just going 1, 2, 3, doing a C sharp, C natural. You could also do a C sharp there. This is one of these little funky accidental moments that I've been talking about of, you know, you can play around with the modality a little bit, and you could either do a C natural or a C sharp there. That's it with a C sharp. So a C natural is this, or a C sharp. See, isn't that funny? It makes almost no difference. It's just kind of whatever you feel like is your favorite thing. Okay, and now so that's what we're going to do for the second part. So let's try that. Let's try those little triplets in the beginning and the neighbor notes. And let's see if we can get this going. So let's play this whole thing twice through with a repeat. So one thing I was doing with the bowing there that I haven't mentioned yet, I don't think, is I was doing a triplet down, and I'm slurring into the first note there. I kind of have missed the boat on getting my bow in the right place. So I'm going to slur the last note in this bar to the first note of the downbeat of the next bar. And that's something you see in Irish music all the time. Them kind of catching up a little bit there, because you want to definitely come down there. And then that last little double stop there is my first finger over the A and D string. So that's E and B. And that's to give me a nice little open E chord here. Open meaning there's no third. So you could play this over an E major or E minor chord. Cool. All right. So let's try the B part now. So we're going to start on your E string on the G up here. G, A, B. So we're going to really work your fourth finger here. This is going to be a little workout for your fourth finger. So that's G, A, B again, and then G, E. So that's an E minor arpeggio there too. Outlining an E minor chord right there. So let's try that again. So from there, you're gonna walk up the scale again and then do that B, A, B thing again. So this whole phrase makes a lot more sense if you do it all together. So I'm gonna play it for you. Let's try that again. Cool. All right, so let's move on to the next part. So we're clearly and squarely in a D major chord here. So F sharp to E, and then D on your A string. And I'm going to do a nice little roll here. So that's using my fourth finger and second finger around my third finger for a third finger roll here. And if you want to know how to do a roll, check out the ornamentation section. And there's a whole video on how to do rolls in the air. Okay, so from F sharp to E, down to the D, and then we're going to walk up the scale to E, F sharp, G, and now we're going to outline a D major chord with A, F sharp, and D. Okay. And if you're really feeling brave, I like to throw a little slide in at the end there on the third finger to get back to that A. You don't have to do it both times. I think maybe just the second time. Let's try that. Sorry, it's a little sticky for some reason. If your fingers stick, that's totally normal. It happens to the best of us. So let's try the first and second phrase together. I did it twice again. I'm overdoing it, but it's just so much fun. So let's try that one more time, and I'll do it right this time. Excellent. Okay, so now the next phrase is... Okay, so that's a lot of repetition. Let's break that down. So that's G, F sharp, E, and then go down to the B on your A string. Let's try that again. And then G, F sharp, G, and then up to the A. And now we're going to do a little triplet-y thing here. B, A, G. So that's fourth finger, third finger, second finger. And I'm kind of slurring through there. And the last few notes is just G, F sharp, E, F sharp. One more time for good luck. Excellent. And now the last part is... So that's G, F sharp, E on your E string, and then down to D, B, and then G, F sharp, G again, and then open E down to the low E. Woo! So let's do phrases 3 and 4 back to back. So sounds like this. Okay, how are we feeling about that? Are we ready to try the whole B part together? I think we're ready. So let's start from your top G here. Okay, so things to remember. Nice roll here. And a slide. So right there, that triplet part going right back, just a sneaky little 1, 2, 3 rhythm in there. If that's tricky for you, that's pretty normal. I would just keep at it. If you're trying to think about it as being the whole tune being 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so these long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short notes are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's the first one is 2 and the second one is 1. Do you see what I mean? If you think about that triplet pattern the entire time, it makes it much easier to come in and out of it and get the timing right. So, and then just our last phrase. I hope you're trying that double stop at the end. It's fun. All right, so let's try this whole tune and see how we do it. So the first part is or. I'm going to try to do both for you. I'm going to try to do the first one the first time and the second one the second time. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Cool. So that is The Rights of Man. And so if you want to level this tune up, the first thing you're going to do is probably make it a little bit faster. Maybe the thing with these kind of hornpipes is they can go at any speed. And they're used at weird speeds sometime. If you're doing this for competitive Irish dance, it's going to go like ridiculously slow sometimes. If you're doing this for Sean-nós Irish dance, though, they're going to have you take it at a normal speed, but they could dance it at that speed. That would be like bottom end of normal normal hornpipe playing performance. I would say that would be kind of the low end. And then the top end would be something like... So yeah, that would be the top end of where it would feel like a hornpipe and still be danceable and all that kind of stuff. It was even a little bit too fast for me there. That's okay. So what I was doing in there for double stops, I'd love to talk about that because I feel like I kind of fall into these kind of honky double stops with this tune. And I feel like that's inspired by the uilleann pipes. The bagpipes have these really cool regulators over on the side. They have these little keys and they tap them and play these really honky chords with them. If you've ever seen them, they kind of go burr, burr, burr. It's a really cool thing. And so I feel like my addition of these funny kind of honky double stops must be inspired by that. As you know, I'm a double stop fanatic. So I mean, that's just not something I would normally do. I think I'm just picking that up from the pipes. So I'm doing a little E to B, so that gives me a nice little open E chord on the bottom. So yeah, E and B. So you have to make sure your D string is clear. And that's fun. I do that all the time. I really like that one. So I'm kind of coming off of the A string and taking the A string with me as I go down to the D. So I'm getting two different chords there. I'm getting a, so that's implying a D chord, even though there is no D. There's an A and an F sharp. And then I'm playing a D. And then I'm snapping just a G and a B, which could be either a G chord or an E minor chord. So that's a G on my D string and a B on my A string. So I kind of just slipped that in really quickly, just a couple of quick chords there. So that one is another kind of double stop that we haven't really talked about much yet. So that's your first finger here. So that's B on your A string and G on your E string. And now I'm letting the G go, so my E string is open, and I'm doing E and B. And I have outlined an E minor chord there. And now I'm going to go down to my E on the D string and ring it down there. So and then for the B part, I think the only other fancy thing I did there is after the slide, I just added a little fourth finger trill at the end just to give it a little something extra. And then so that is what I like to do for the Rights of Man. I hope you enjoyed this tune. I hope you play around with it and find all different kinds of uses for this tune. There are very many. And that's all for today. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.